Apple has always loved rhythm. Every year, like clockwork, a new MacBook Pro arrives with a faster chip, a few design tweaks, and a flood of glossy ads promising the next leap in performance. October has long been the month of Mac fans, the time when Apple announces, ships, and then teases the next generation. But in 2025, something feels different. The rhythm has stopped. The music has paused. And everyone is wondering why. Over the past decade, Apple built a predictable upgrade cycle. It launched the M1 Pro and Max in 2021, followed by M2 models in 2023 and M3 versions in 2024. So naturally, people expected an M5 MacBook Pro by late 2025. But now, reports suggest there will be no new MacBook Pro at all this year, no Air refresh, no Pro update, nothing. For Apple, that's almost unheard of. The last time they skipped a full year was during the early Apple Silicon transition. And back then, it was only a few months delay. This time, it could stretch for more than a year. So what happened? Why is Apple slowing down a product line that has always symbolized cutting-edge performance? To understand this, we have to look at three overlapping stories: Apple's chip strategy, its display revolution, and its long-term design vision. Together, they explain why 2025 will be a quiet year and why 2026 might be Apple's loudest yet. Let's start with the chip. The M5 chip, more than just another upgrade. Inside Apple's labs, the M5 isn't just another processor. It's a foundation for the next generation of AI-driven computing. For years, Apple's chips have evolved around CPU and GPU improvements, faster cores, more efficiency, better graphics. But now, the focus has shifted. The M5 is rumored to feature a next-generation neural engine built specifically for AI tasks, optimized for Apple Intelligence, the new system-wide AI layer coming to macOS, iOS, and iPadOS. This new direction means Apple can't just reuse old blueprints. It needs new validation, new architecture, and new software integration. The neural engine alone requires deep coordination with Apple's software teams because the company wants AI features like local image generation, voice-based automation, and real-time language translation to run entirely on-device. That's powerful, but also complicated. Every neural block must be efficient enough to fit within Apple's thermal and battery limits. And that's where the challenge begins. When you design chips that handle heavy AI loads, you face heat issues, memory bottlenecks, and unpredictable performance spikes. Apple can't afford that in a thin and quiet MacBook Pro. So instead of rushing the M5 out, they're taking extra time to fine-tune every aspect: power balance, AI scheduling, and real-world responsiveness. Delaying the M5 also gives Apple time to let the M4 line mature. The M4 Pro and M4 Max, released in late 2024, already deliver immense power. For most users, even pros, they're more than enough. By extending the M4's life, Apple can stabilize supply, reduce production cost, and focus its resources on preparing the M5 era properly. But that's only one layer of the story. OLED, the quiet revolution. If there's one upgrade that could justify this delay, it's the shift to OLED. Apple has been testing OLED MacBooks for years. We've seen OLED in iPhones, Apple Watches, and recently in the 2024 iPad Pro, the first Apple product to use tandem OLED technology. That means two OLED layers stacked together for higher brightness, better contrast, and longer life. The results were stunning. The iPad Pro became thinner, lighter, and far more efficient. But bringing OLED to the MacBook Pro is a different challenge altogether. The 16-inch model uses a much larger panel. Producing OLED screens at that scale, with Apple's strict color accuracy and longevity standards, is no small feat. Manufacturing yields are lower, costs are higher, and quality control takes longer. So, when insiders like Mark Gurman and Ming-Chi Kuo say Apple is spacing out its roadmap, it's not because the company has run out of ideas, it's because they're preparing to synchronize multiple breakthroughs at once. The M5 MacBook Pro isn't just a chip upgrade. It's the moment Apple introduces OLED to its flagship laptop. And that's why timing matters. Apple doesn't want to release an M5 MacBook Pro with a standard mini LED display, only to refresh it 6 months later with OLED. That would confuse buyers and hurt sales. Instead, their plan: a unified launch, new chip, new display, new design, all together. The design overhaul, learning from the past. Every time Apple redesigns the MacBook Pro, the world pays attention. But redesigns can be risky. Remember 2016? The year of the butterfly keyboard, limited ports, and endless complaints about reliability. Apple chased thinness at the expense of usability. It took 5 years to fix those mistakes. The 2021 MacBook Pro finally brought back real keys, more ports, and MagSafe. Now, Apple is trying to find balance, thin but practical, sleek but functional. The rumored 2026 MacBook Pro could be Apple's most refined balance yet. Inspired by the 2024 iPad Pro, it's expected to be slimmer and lighter without sacrificing durability or thermal performance. How? Part of the answer lies in new battery chemistry. Apple has been experimenting with silicon-carbon anode technology, batteries that can store more energy in less space. That allows them to reduce thickness while maintaining long battery life. Combine that with the efficiency of the M5 and M6 chips, and you get a laptop that's both powerful and portable. It's the kind of long-term thinking that requires patience. Apple isn't just making another laptop, it's preparing the foundation for the next decade of MacBooks. And rushing that out would defeat the purpose. Why 2025 will be silent? From the outside, Apple's 2025 lineup might look dull. No M5, no OLED MacBook, maybe just minor updates across other products. But behind the scenes, the company is entering one of its busiest engineering phases ever. Delaying the M5 MacBook Pro frees Apple from its usual October pressure. It gives hardware, software, and manufacturing teams space to synchronize. The chip team can finish validation. The display suppliers in Korea and Japan can ramp up OLED production. And the design group can finalize the chassis to fit new thermal and battery constraints. If Apple launched the M5 too early, it would risk releasing a product that feels half-baked, a new chip in an old body. That's not how Apple likes to do things. When they change direction, they go all in. Some analysts even suggest this pause mirrors what happened before major transitions in Apple history, like the move from Intel to Apple Silicon or from LCD to Retina. Those weren't small updates. They were generational shifts that defined entire product eras. The M5 delay could signal another one. The double launch theory. Here's where it gets really intriguing. If Apple waits until early 2026 to release the M5 MacBook Pro, it opens up a unique possibility: 2 major launches in 1 year. Imagine this timeline. Early 2026, Apple unveils the M5, M5 Pro, and M5 Max MacBook Pros, same design, refined internals, focused on efficiency and AI. Late 2026, Apple drops a completely redesigned OLED MacBook Pro, possibly with the M6 chip. It sounds crazy, but Apple has done something similar before. In 2023, the M2 Pro and Max MacBook Pros arrived in January, and the M3 versions replaced them just 10 months later. Apple clearly isn't afraid of breaking its own rules when strategy demands it. A double refresh could make 2026 the most exciting MacBook year ever, a true before and after moment. Why Apple needs a reset? From a business standpoint, the delay also gives Apple breathing room. Mac sales slowed slightly after 2023's post-pandemic surge. Many customers who upgraded to M1 and M2 models simply don't need new laptops yet. Extending the M4 cycle lets Apple reduce inventory pressure while still selling high-margin products. It's also a chance to recalibrate pricing. The MacBook Pro has become one of Apple's most profitable devices, but it's also facing growing competition from Windows laptops powered by Qualcomm's new AI-focused chips. By delaying the M5, Apple can study how the market reacts, then respond with a more mature, AI-ready product rather than rushing into the race. This strategy also keeps the Mac ecosystem fresh without overwhelming developers. Each Apple Silicon generation introduces new architecture tweaks, which means developers need to optimize their apps repeatedly. Slowing down allows the software community to catch up, ensuring that when the M5 and M6 arrive, the ecosystem feels ready. The AI transition. Apple's broader vision for the Mac is now tightly connected to AI. Apple Intelligence, announced for macOS Sequoia, will bring generative tools, smarter search, and personalize Ed automation to the Mac. To make that work smoothly, Apple needs hardware capable of sustained on-device inference. That's where the M5's neural engine comes in. Apple is reportedly integrating a new AI fabric, an architecture that allows data to flow between the CPU, GPU, and neural engine more efficiently. It's similar to what NVIDIA calls tensor interconnect. The idea is to enable real-time AI features without depending on the cloud. This also means the Mac will increasingly blur the line between laptop and AI workstation. And that's why the M5 delay makes sense. Apple wants the hardware to fully match the AI software rollout plan for 2026. Could Apple go even further? Some leaks suggest Apple tested a MacBook Pro with an M3 Ultra chip, a 32-core CPU and 80-core GPU monster, but never released it. That test proves something crucial. Apple is already building the foundation for an ultra-class MacBook. However, the challenge isn't performance, it's heat. Even the 16-inch chassis struggles to dissipate the heat of a desktop-grade chip. The redesigned 2026 MacBook Pro might finally solve that, thanks to better OLED panel efficiency and new thermal materials. When that happens, we could see the first truly portable workstation, a MacBook Pro Ultra that rivals desktops in performance while staying thin and quiet. Why the wait might be worth it. Apple's strategy often frustrates fans in the short term but pays off in the long run. Think of the original Retina display. Competitors had high-resolution screens years earlier, but Apple waited until it could deliver one that looked flawless and consistent across every app. When it launched, it redefined laptop displays overnight. The same story might repeat with OLED. Instead of rushing out early, Apple is waiting until it can perfect the technology, better color accuracy, longer lifespan, lower power draw. When the M5 MacBook Pro finally appears, it won't just be faster. It'll look and feel like a new class of Mac. Should you buy or wait? That's the question every potential buyer faces. If you're using an M1 or Intel MacBook, upgrading to an M4 model right now still makes sense. The M4 Pro and Max chips deliver enough power for heavy video editing, 3D work, and software development. Prices will also drop once the M5 is announced, creating a perfect sweet spot for value. But if you crave that next-gen design, OLED display, and AI-integrated silicon, the smarter move might be to wait until 2026. The gap may be long, but it's leading to a leap, not a step. A year of preparation, not absence. So, when people say Apple is skipping 2025, they're missing the bigger picture. This isn't a pause, it's preparation. Apple's engineers, designers, and partners are synchronizing one of the most complex transitions in MacBook history: new chips, new display tech, new battery architecture, and a new design language all converging in one release window. When you think about it, that's classic Apple. Take the time, get it right, then surprise everyone at once. The company has done this pattern repeatedly. It did it with Apple Silicon, with Retina, with MagSafe's return. Every time it pauses, it comes back with something that shifts the market. And this time, the shift could define the next decade of laptop design. The bigger picture, the MacBook as a platform. In Apple's ecosystem, the MacBook Pro isn't just a laptop, it's a signal. When Apple upgrades the MacBook Pro, the entire Mac line eventually follows. The Air inherits the same chip architecture, then the Mac Mini, then the iMac. By delaying the Pro, Apple is effectively pushing back the entire Mac roadmap. That's bold. But it also means 2026 will be a cascade year, multiple Mac models launched within months, all sharing the new DNA. That's why analysts describe the M5 delay as strategic silence. It's Apple's way of resetting its tempo to match the next technological wave. Final thoughts for Section 1. When you look at Apple's history, the company has always moved in cycles of innovation and reflection. Right now, we're in the reflection phase. The M4 generation laid a solid foundation. The M5 is the bridge to the AI-first era. And the OLED MacBook Pro will be the crown jewel of that transition. So yes, 2025 will be quiet. But beneath that silence, Apple is gearing up for something big, a machine that blends beauty, intelligence, and efficiency into one seamless package. The next chapter of the MacBook OK story isn't delayed, it's loading. And when it finally arrives in 2026, it could redefine what we expect from a laptop again.